Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is, do blacks really need rescuing? You know, ever since this civil rights movement began, we've always been in some position where we need help from somebody else. We never can come together as a people and solve our own issues. And this is what bothers me most of all. You even have black leaders that's supposed to be leading the people looking for somebody else to come in and rescue the people. I don't understand that. Why are we hiring this guy to represent us anyway? Just go to the people who you think can rescue us. Why we got to pay these Martin Luther Kings, these Farrakhan's, these Al Sharptons? If the help gonna come from somebody else, what you paying these guys for? Then when you get them in the office, I'm listening here to Joe Biden last night. He's talking about he want Congress to help him push the legislation through to protect our people. But then it comes with all these other things for everybody else. We can't get nothing specific. But I don't blame Joe Biden for that. I blame this failed black leadership. You endorsed this fool, got him up in the White House, and you demanded nothing. And you done told the people that Joe Biden got our back. How? Show me something that I can show me, like I say, chapter and verse. Show me something that I can read and I can believe that he didn't put down on paper to say that he got our back. When? What? Where? How? None of these questions wasn't even asked or answered. But yet this guy is sitting in the White House, and now we got to just sit back and wait. This is ridiculous. You got the failed leaders, this Al Sharpton's, Farrakhan's, whoever else you want to throw in there, Jesse Jackson, you name it, they failed. If there had been success, we wouldn't be as vulnerable as we are right now. It's, when you have this gridlock that's up in Washington now, I'm listening to this fool, Joe Biden, talking about his policy that's cutting childhood hunger in half, 50%. Democrats stand up and applaud. You may have had one or two Republicans. You would think that somebody that's cut childhood hunger in half, you would think everybody would stand up and agree with that. But not in this situation. Joe Biden talking about some paying for his agenda. He want corporations to start paying their fair share. Democrats stand up and applaud. Maybe one or two Republicans. What's the problem with just paying your fair share? He's not saying pay over and above. Just pay your fair share. Nothing wrong with that. But see, the issue is you got a Republican Party and you got a Democrat Party. And there's no outside force to compel them to work together. This is why you have an odd number of judges in the Supreme Court. So when everybody casts their vote, you're going to have one group be larger than the next automatically, and the majority is going to win. But when you have a Democrat and Republican Party and no third party to consider, you're going to always have gridlock. This is where black leadership has failed. They should be putting the third party, our party, and wedge them right in between this idiotic Republican and this inept Democratic Party so we can force each of them to push our legislation through. And not one of them has argued this. And without it, there's no incentive for them to change. And our people are suffering because of it. But, when I use the word rescue, it made me think of John Taffer, who does the bar rescue. Now, this guy comes in, he helps build bars, establishes, he put everything in order. So now he got a career off of this, going around in different bars, fixing their issues, pulling them out of debt, and making them profitable. And I had no problem with that. He's a little harsh, but in the end, the man shows that he knows what he's doing. John Taffer, on one of his shows, he went to this one guy bar, and the guy was like $107,000 in debt. Now, what did he use to fix these bars? He just used science. He just used what works. And when I look at this and I look at black people, and I say, well, why don't we just apply this type of mentality to the social movement and pull us out of our situation and make us more prosperous? John Taffer, he embraced a new approach, new technology, and he abandoned the old ways. He's not making drinks, Harvey Wallbangers or whatever it is, some old stuff. The new drinks that people are more familiar with. He got some traditional drinks, yeah, of course. But all these old ways of doing things, lighting, everything is new and improved. That's called science. What do these black leaders use to help address our 400-year problem? They use anti-science. They ignore new ideas. They ignore new technology. And they embrace marching and begging and pleading to change the mindset of your eternal enemy. This is why we still stuck in poverty. Here's the problem that one of the guys at the bar had. Like I said, he was $107,000 in debt. According to the numbers, you had the bartenders pouring at a 85% efficiency rate, which is acceptable. They overpoured a little bit, but it's not killing you. Then you look at my man's food costs. It was 48%. It should have been at 30%. When he did the numbers, that 18% difference equal to over $72,000 in loss in profit. That was 67% of their debt. The problem wasn't external, it was internal. So if you had the right management, would you even need a John Taffer to come in and rescue you? No. You just need a manager to know how to manage. When you look at black people, you got 99% of our essential businesses and services owned by whites. I should say 100, but for the coons out here, I'm just gonna say 99, just to satisfy them. You got 99% of your essential needs, goods and services owned by white people. You own and control nothing. If John Taffer would look at these numbers, he would say, here's your problem right here. You can't determine nothing. Everything that you get is at the allowance of your enemy. You fix this, you won't have no need to call me in here. This is not rocket science. This is third grade stuff. You should have abandoned these ways long time ago. And we should have abandoned these leaders long time ago. Still using marching, holding hands, locking arms in solidarity. Solidarity in what? Stupidity, that's what. Unless you create an alternative, there's no reason why the status quo is going to change. It's just simple as that. So do we really need rescuing? No. Instead of blaming white people, we need to just take a hard look and put the blame where it belongs, on ourselves. Now before I conclude this video, let me say this. Ownership, control, and self-determination That's how we fix us. We don't need a John Taffer. We don't need a Joe Biden. We don't need anything. All we need is leadership who can embrace change and reject slavery. You know, we have what we want to be, who we want to be, and when we want to be it, all in the hands of those who are not invested in our future. Whites profit off of our dysfunction. Everything that we don't do for ourselves, they make more money doing for us. Do you really think they're going to stop that and change that? You know, don't be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. Do you really believe the whites who educate, feed, pay, employ, police our community, govern over us, and in the end to be equal with them? You know, when they educate our children, do they want that black child to have the same education as that white child? When they feed us, is it the same quality of food? When they pay us, is it for us to receive the same lifestyle that they can afford? When they employ us, is it at the same rate as they employ their own? When they police us, is it so that we can live in safe communities? And when they govern over us, is it so we can receive the same benefits and share of resources that everybody else has? You know, if you don't believe that with all your heart, if you know that black whites will not do for us what they do for them, then why are we doing this? You know, so no, we don't need nobody to come here and rescue us. All we need is to rescue ourselves. I'm going to end this video here. And if you like, share this message. If you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete restoration of my people. And I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.